Hi, this is Matthew Angel from Cluster 5. Today we're going to be talking about how to use Google Forms in assessment within your classroom. The first thing you have to do is you have to have a Google account to make this work. Once you have your Google account and you've signed in either from Gmail or from the Google homepage, you're going to want to go to forms.google.com. We're going to go over how to change themes today, how to create two different question types, and then finally we're going to also go over how we actually look at the raw data from the form. You'll notice here at the top when you're starting a new form that you have a few settings. You can have a progress bar at the bottom of the forms page so that students can see their progress for the length of the assessment. Since you're probably going to be starting with a short assessment, it's probably unnecessary. If your class or your students already have a Google account, you can check a box here to allow one response per person. But as you'll notice here, it will require a login. Notice as in a lot of these pages for Google, there's a little question mark that if you hover over, it will give you more information. You can also shuffle the order of the questions as they appear on the page. So we're going to go up here and we're going to give this new assessment a title. We're going to call it test assessment. And now that we have our new test assessment, we're going to look into changing the theme so that when our students log in, it's fun and it's engaging. You can choose from a lot of different themes here on the right that will change the background and the image above the assessment at the top. You can find things that are more age appropriate for your students that are more engaging to what they might like. Next, then we're going to go back here to edit questions. And on page 1, we are going to have down here, you can see the different question types. Here we're going to focus on short answer and multiple choice. One type of question you can do is a short answer question. And at which point here, you would enter the question title and then the actual question that you want down here. What is your favorite answer sentence? And then here they'll have a space down here for a longer answer. Right. And this is what it will look like here for question number 1. We are then going to add another question. So we're going to add another item. You'll notice that here that you have a couple of different advanced settings down here that you can look into. But for this one, we're going to do a multiple choice question. And here we'll say, what is your favorite subject? And you can have as many options as you want. Science. Science. And we'll allow other. We'll also call this a required question. So here we have a 2-question assessment. Maybe you could think of this as a form for an exit slip at first, as something to just try out. Students could get on an iPad. At any point, you can say view live form, and it will show you what it will look like here if it were to go live. Because it is a Google document, it is saving as you go along into your Google account. So you don't have to worry about saving, although you do have the option of doing that at any time. Now, what you'll also want here is you'll also want to be able to view your student responses. And by viewing the student, by pressing the viewing student responses, what's going to happen is that in your Google account, it's going to make a new Google Sheet, and you'll notice that here it says test assessment parentheses responses. One thing you notice here is it'll have a timestamp, and it will have a space that will actually answer what has been recorded. So if I were to then take this link, share it, and I was actually going to use it over here, open it up, type, choose, I could submit. It says your response has been recorded. So I now come back here and I see that on December 8th, 2014, this was a response within the paragraph form. This was a response within the math form. So now, if we go back here, now we have to think of how are we going to actually record students' names and which students are actually taking this assessment. This would be good so far is if we actually wanted to record just for survey purposes, something that was going on in our classroom. But if we actually wanted to record who the students were without actually requiring them to log in, we would actually just have to say here, we'd have to make another title and text. And so that students could take their name, and we could put it back up here at the top. So now when I view my responses, now when I go to view my live form, you'll see that here that there's a space for students to enter their name. And now when I enter my name, Matt, I enter a choice, and it's been recorded. And I go back to my responses. Now you'll see there's a column here that's been added here that says this test has been taken by Matt. Would like you first for the next week's session to actually think about your inquiry teams and the spaces and what you're studying with your particular student subgroup, and bring in an assessment that you're using inside your classroom to test their progress. We're going to convert it into a Google form, and we're going to try to test it out to see if we can help your inquiry teams become more efficient when they meet by being able to bring their data in immediately after the students have taken the assessment. Thank you for watching.